It just depends. It's like sometimes if they haven't been playing well, and they're starting to find some form, there's not a lot of expectation, but there's some anticipation and some excitement in a good way. Um, in some cases, and this all depends on the individual, if they've been playing excellent and they really feel like they have a chance, Wednesday's normally a day where I'll see a little bit more emotional reactions, um, a little more sense of alarm. Um, some Wednesdays are no problem, but I think typically, growing up, most of these guys dreamed of winning a major and all that, and those dreams are really important, but everything kind of has a duality or has two sides to it. So the dream is to win that major and to get to that level in the game, but that dream comes in that moment with self-induced pressure, which is generally not even conscious. Like they're probably not even knowing that they're tense or getting slightly agitated or what have you. I mean, the first tee shot at Augusta tomorrow, even though it's the first shot at Augusta of the 2011 Masters, it's either a draw off the bunker or a cut off the left rough, which they do all the time every week. So, I don't think it's that easy to just separate it because it means so much, but it still just has to be a golf shot. So I think the guys who can relax in majors and really try to get it to a point where they're very present into each shot and only into that shot, I think they're the ones who have the most success. I think like all my guys have played with Tiger, and Tiger watches them hit balls, and they watch Tiger hit balls, and Tiger is like ultra impressed with the way Sean O'Hair hits a fade. He's very impressed with Justin Rose's whole game. He loves watching Hunter drive the golf ball. So there's a mutual respect and admiration, but I think what people lose track of sometimes is it's been whatever 15 months or however long it's been since Tiger has won the last time. But he's 35 years of age and he's won 14 majors. So you think about like a guy like maybe one of the top 5 players of all time, like a Nick Faldo, who won 6. That's 8 more. I mean, 14 majors. I mean, if you win 14 tournaments between Nationwide and the PGA Tour, that's just a spectacular career. So, I think they're obviously, I mean, Sean and Hunter, at the age they're at, Tiger's 7 years older than him, they were playing junior golf when he was winning his first majors. So I think from one point they see really how close that they are to playing that way. But it's a mindset more than a physical skill set, because they're all equally really good. I mean, Rosie finished 4th in the British Open at 17 years of age. I don't even think, as good as Matteo Manassero is at 17, I don't think he played like at that level in the British Open. So I mean, that's spectacular stuff. So I think with those guys like Steven and Justin and Hunter and Sean, they're all of that like special caliber of player. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to what happens in between the ears, as it does for everybody. And I think that he'd obviously figured out how to do that more. So it wasn't like he never really won a major leading in fairways hit, or maybe even greens in regulation. But he got it done, and he got it done by a lot at times, and then by making putts and chipping in and doing spectacular things. So I think it just comes down to more than anything is just a real sense of belief that you can and you will. I think they all know that they're good. It's just deep down in their heart of hearts is whether or not they believe that. If they can win at that level. I always try to keep in the front of my mind that this was my dream for a long time, and that I can't let all that stuff get in the way of the fact that I'd set out to achieve this and I wanted to do it, and I have. And like that's very special to me. So that's kind of the first thing I think about when I wake up, just as reassurance. Look, doesn't matter whatever happens today. Um, I never panic ever. I really think out what I'm either going to say or not say to the guys. And being around, Sean for 3 years, and Hunter for 3 years, and Rosie for almost 2, Steven for 4.5, I can almost tell within like 10 feet of shaking their hand where we're at, for that day. But the week it's an added, it's kind of a different thing now working with Tiger and being at a major, where I think that probably the fan base probably know more about golf, read about golf, watch golf on TV, and maybe that's an assumption, but it feels that way. So there's more recognition, but I never set out to try and achieve that anyways. I've got no interest in that. I understand now that it's part of the game, and it's part of my job, so I'll just be myself. But that's a little bit different. I have to think more about the moves I make and the things that I say, which can be tiring. So I'm still going to be myself, but just knowing about the way things are with social media and the ability for each and anybody to become a momentary journalist is, I just have to pay attention. But, more than anything, it's been organized this week. I've seen the guys, each of them for plenty of time. I like, for the most part, where all of them are at. But if you told me I was going to go through Wednesday at a major on the driving range without having a couple guys with a sense of alarm, I've never seen it. And I don't really look too much into it, and I'm not going to try and overfix it, is because I know when they just take a few deep breaths and kind of, clear things up a little bit, that the good stuff comes out. And I had said to someone yesterday that, my guys, I think they've won like 10 events since I've been on tour. And I never knew when I left on Friday that any of them were going to win that event. So I don't see a guy playing on Wednesday playing great. It's Wednesday. It's just preparation. So I don't really sit there on a Wednesday and have a Nostradamus vision of how things are going to go, because golf is just hard, and human beings are sensitive, and golf can make you fragile. And you could have a guy who's got the lead through 30 holes, miss the cut by one. You just never know. And around Augusta, there's going to be a lot of birdies. There's going to be some eagles. And then there's going to be some guys who 4-putt from 10 feet. So I try, my advice to them is just recognize where you're at, and that, this is a lifelong dream to be playing at the Masters at Augusta National, and realize how special it is. But typically they get where they try to be a little too perfect on major weeks because they feel like they need to be. But all the other times they played great. They weren't trying to be anything but themselves. They were almost in the flow, as my friend Gio Valiente talks about, being in the flow state. That's just where they're just kind of going with the flow, the rhythm of the round, the rhythm of the day, not trying to force anything. But no, these weeks can get a little bit tiring by Sunday, but it's never anything that's real difficult, because one, I created it, and two, I've always wanted to be there doing it. So I'm still enjoying it, every day.